Meanwhile in the pod cave. And welcome back to another edition of the Podmen. I'm Brad.
I'm Brian.
I'm Podman Ron.
Shout, Jonah.
I'm Podboy Jonah.
And Podboy Jonah is running in from hopefully getting us all a cup of coffee or something. It's cold outside. And the intern, Podboy Jonah, PBJ, maybe he ought to do a little hustling for us, right? For his position in the pod.
Yeah, some runs of errands, dry cleaning, those types of things.
All right, very good. But glad to have you with you, PB&J.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
All right. Have you gotten any fan mail yet?
No, I have not.
All right.
Wow.
Well,
I have not even started on the Wikipedia page.
Has the listener from the bus stop mentioned anything?
No. Honestly, I think she stopped listening.
wow. We can't even keep a 13-year-old's attention. Oh, well. Oh, well, we knew.
That's one less listener.
Yeah, well, we knew that fame and fortune couldn't last forever. That's why hopefully we all invested wisely.
Hey.
Well,
I invested in lots of plastic.
yeah,
So-
the plastic futures are looking good over at Brian's house.
I invested in Star Trek Playmobil figures. Boy, oh boy, I take a bath in that.
That was a bad.
Jesus Christ.
Just like when you bought that
No.
Marvel stock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Was
hey,
it Playmobil or was it Playmates?
Playmates. So you're
Playmates.
right. Playmates.
There is Star Trek Playmobil now, though. Have you seen them?
you got to collect them.
I have not. No, I do not. No.
You got to get them all.
I spent most of the 90s collecting Star Trek Playmates, and
Star Trek
I can't get
Playmates.
rid of those things. I'll just have to burn those to get rid of those.
Well, the problem is they're plastic, so
Yeah,
they're
melt 'em
rubbery
down.
plastic.
Yeah.
You know what sucks is that type of plastic. That's the ones that like sweat. So if you open some of those figures, they're probably just greasy to the touch.
Great.
So,
Well, all I know is
Great.
Star Trek and Playmates. You just don't usually associate those two things together, but that's okay. But hey, we've got a hell of a showdown tonight as Wakanda goes up against Telemuccia. Atlantis. I don't know. Whatever the new name of Atlantis is. We don't know. We're going to screw that up, right? Let's say that off the bat. Namor and everything, we're going to screw that up because it's a little bit new to us. But before we get into that, let's. I'm not sure if we even have some news. It's only been a few days since our last recording, but let's see what we've got. Over at the news desk, Brian, has there been
Just
anything
two
big happening?
quickies.
Oh, okay, two quickies. Excellent.
there's this is a big one. I don't think it's going to be shocking to anyone, but it hasn't been officially announced, but they're saying that Spider-Man 4, they've re-signed Tom Holland
Okay.
for Spider-Man 4. It hasn't been officially announced. We don't know how many movies, but the rumor is he's re-signed for multiple movies, so the assumption is a trilogy, but no Disney Plus TV shows or anything.
Whew.
So,
Well, thank God. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants the Disney Plus TV show with Spider-Man.
So they're not going to waste any cameos or any of that crap on a.
How easy could it be? How easy money would it be for Tom Holland just to film a couple of special appearances and things like that? You know what I mean? Not even in suit, just as Peter Parker or something running into Miss Marvel or something like that. I mean, that would be easy money for him. Why not do that, right?
Problem is, I
a
think
little cameo.
Yeah.
the problem with even doing a cameo, the way they've built this universe is that, now it's like, well, where does it fit in the timeline? Well, nobody's supposed to know who Peter Parker is. So it just would cause more problems than it would solve.
More confusion.
And they just spent all this time detaching him from the MCU, right?
Yeah.
Where nobody remembers him, to it wouldn't make a ton of sense to immediately connect him back. I think what's going to happen is in Spider-Man 4, it's going to be a trilogy around the college years, right? So
Gwen, it'll have Gwen and Harry and all them.
It'll have Gwen and Harry, and I think what'll happen is the cliffhanger at the end of the first movie might be MJ shows up, right? In some capacity. So you could even do the whole, and somebody sets Peter up with a blind date, and it's MJ. Right? And you could even do I would love for them to do the, face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot line.
Right.
That'd be pretty kick-ass.
Yeah.
What do you mean, the real MJ or this MJ?
That MJ.
This is the real MJ for his universe.
Oh, so you just say, okay. So
Bring her-
bring
her
back Zendaya. Yeah, she's not in the movie at all, but then you kind of tease that somebody the whole time trying to set him up on a blind date.
Right.
It's just a running joke. No. Just like it was in the comic, right? Because that went on for like 6 or 8 issues where Aunt May, their neighbor, kept wanting to set him up with her niece.
It actually went longer. It was like 30 issues. There
you go. But it was like that running joke that like he kept dodging it. Finally, she was like, well, she's here, Peter. And he had to go to the door, and he's like, oh, man. And then he opens the door, and it's Mary Jane. And that's, the face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. So that would be pretty, in me fan casting, I would say that. Marvel, if you're listening, make that your post-credit scene.
There you go. That'd be good.
Tease a blind date the whole time, post-credit scene, knock at the door.
And there's
MJ.
a 40-year-old MJ waiting for him by the end of the third movie. That'd be great.
It turns out that Mary Jane Watson has divorced Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Right.
And she's a cougar on the prowl. So.
Okay. Face it, Tiger, you've hit the jackpot.
What if it's not like the MJ from his universe? What if it's just somebody named initials MJ, and that's the cliffhanger?
Yeah,
it's not even the right MJ.
You can do that.
No point in doing it then.
Do a redhead.
What if it's just some skank whore?
Oh my God! All right, what else you got, Brian? Enough of that banter. That's what nonsense banter leads to.
20%. Hey, 20% more banter.
Yeah, that's what unplanned banter leads to. What if she's just a whore? Yeah,
unprotected banter.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't have unprotected banter.
No.
So we talked last episode a few days ago about the indie TV show. There's rumors about the indie TV show on Disney Plus. Now there's everybody's fan casting, and you could probably do this. Short Round, the actor that played Short Round,
I got something to say about that, but go ahead.
All right, and he was the lead in, or the supporting lead in Everything Everywhere All at Once, right?
Yeah. So
Short Round,
all right.
Data from Goonies.
Just being in it though, he's not the new Indiana Jones.
No. Basically the rumor or the fan casting sort of thing is you could make him the heir apparent because nobody wants Mutt Williams back.
Gotcha.
And not like they'd be able to get Shia LaBeouf back anyway, but or want to put him in in the seat of a franchise.
Okay, so he would be the lead. Issues.
So yeah, he would be the de facto adopted child.
I love it.
Indiana Jones.
I love it. PMR comment.
PMR.
All right. Now everybody, as we grew up, everybody hated Short Round. I mean, let's just face it. Everybody hated Short Round.
I didn't hate Short Round.
You hated Short Round.
Everybody hated Short Round. They loved the kid from Goonies, but they hated Short Round.
Nobody liked Short Round.
I love Data and Short Round.
Everybody loved
it. And years later, when I realized it was the same actor,
you loved him even more.
So you loved the precocious little Short Round run around when you were.
You call him Dr. Jones.
You call him Dr. Jones.
No,
that was so great.
He had the boxes tied to his feet so he could drive the cab.
Oh my God.
Exactly. Nobody.
That was the catchphrase of the '80s, right there. You call him Dr. Jones.
That was a catchphrase every time I rode a ride with Alex at Disney.
Yeah. I remember we went on the Dudley Do Right Ripsaw Falls. It's a giant like log flume, And for whatever reason, that trip, that PMR just kept quoting Short Round
because he hated him so much.
And it was like, so, yeah, it was, hold on, Dr. Jones, we going for a ride. No, hold on. We going for a ride.
Lady.
Hold on, lady, we going for a ride.
Wow.
Everybody hated Short Round, and all of a sudden, y'all all love Short Round.
Yeah, he's in one movie, and everybody loves him. Yeah.
You don't speak for a generation, PMR.
Yeah, I think he does.
Hate Short Round.
I'm just keeping it honest. I'm keeping it honest with all you motherfuckers, because everybody hated Short Round 25 years ago.
No.
And then all of a sudden...
Yeah.
If you go with the first trilogy, that's the order, right? It's the first movie, the third movie, the second movie. The second movie is the latest in the timeline.
Was it?
But the second movie is everybody didn't other than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The second movie was the one everybody didn't like, Temple of Doom, and they always say it's because of the female lead, which was Kate Capshaw, and the other one was because of Short Round, because they couldn't stand his terrible little acting.
Yep.
I loved him.
No, you didn't.
I loved it. Always have. But yeah, so I guess the order is in Raiders of the Lost Ark, then what's the third movie?
Last Crusade.
Last Crusade is the second movie. Temple of Doom, and then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, Kingdom. With all that saying, I wouldn't mind it being Short Round, being the heir apparent. Why not?
Wait.
That was a twist. I didn't see that one coming.
I'm keeping it real.
He's keeping it real.
I'm keeping it real. Everybody hated Short Round. I wouldn't mind Short Round being
Mark keeps it real.
Whatever. So
you just said you hated him not 5 minutes ago.
But I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Jonah, don't let your father fool you. He hated him too. He's just not going to admit it. He just wants to be on the bandwagon with all these other motherfuckers that go, I love
he's so great and everything everywhere all at once. He's so great. He ought to be Indiana Jones.
Well, yeah, that's the question. PMR, have you watched Everything Everywhere All at Once yet?
Yes, I'm sure he's a fine actor now. But when he was...
Did you watch the movie? Did you watch the movie?
No.
It's not really his tempo.
That's a great movie.
I don't doubt it. I want to watch it, but...
But it's not like where we're telling you, this is a great movie. It's some big head scratcher, deep thinker sci-fi. It's a great movie.
Brian,
hijinks ensue very quickly.
I know, but Brian, come on. I mean, PMR and the bagel. I mean, it's just fraught for him to crap in that bagel.
He would shit right in that bagel.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's because you haven't seen the movie.
That's because you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's not for you, PMR.
I had the epiphany.
I'll save you. It's not for you.
I had the epiphany on November 1st because we did everybody's costumes. I posted them on the Facebook page, but I decided over the summer or in May, whenever the movie came out, that I wanted to do Raccacoonie as a costume, and I totally blanked.
I forgot all about it.
Raccacoonie.
It's in the movie.
I'm telling you, you gotta watch this movie, PMR.
I advise against it.
Is that like Ratatouille?
Yep.
I can't explain. You have to go watch it.
Okay, I'll watch it.
All right.
I have a question though. Is Short Round in the new movie going to be like a more serious character or like a?
Well, it's all just fan speculation right now.
Because honestly,
it would be a balance.
He's going to be a 50-year-old man that still talks that way.
But honestly,
with a bad Chinese,
he's a pretty short actor. Like that actor is short. If you see him next to you,
let's say he got into. Let's say he got into a big tractor or something, right? And he drives regular cars, but he gets in this giant tractor and he does still have to tie the boxes back to his shoes to get it to.
That would be a good callback. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
sign me up.
So PMR went from I hate Short Round, everybody hated Short Round, to
he still hates them, but he's okay with it. That's all he's saying.
I'm okay with it. I hated Short Round back in the day. You hated Short Round back in the day. Everybody.
I did not hate Short Round back in the day.
I wish we had recordings back then.
I just
from
wish
the old days at the store.
I wish they had. invented audio recording back then.
You know, people just love the original character of Short Round, and then they just changed it from what we knew.
Nobody like that. Sure.
We just loved him.
Everybody hates when you put a freaking kid in a adventure movie. So, and Steven Spielberg was the worst to do that because he wanted the adventure to be seen from the eyes of a child.
I know. What a fucker. What an a-hole. What a genuine a-hole that Spielberg was, wanting to show magic to a child about filmmaking. What a fart.
Hated it.
What about showing me a movie through the eyes of a 57-year-old?
Yeah.
Why couldn't a 57-year-old be
magical adventure? I want to see a 57-year-old Henry Thomas reunite with E.T. That's the story I want to see.
Yeah, why can't a grown-ass man find an alien?
No.
And protect him from the government.
I want to see like an 85-year-old man, like on his cane, just following Indy.
Come on, E.T.
Come on, E.T.
Pieces?
Well,
I can't have them. The doctor says I gotta watch my sugars.
I got diabetes. I got the diabetes, E.T.
I got diabetes, E.T. But you can eat all these Reese's Pieces.
Well, I guess I'm going to get out of the recliner.
Would you like a butterscotch, E.T.?
I'm going to get out of the recliner and I'll get that telephone for you.
What, Fred?
I'm going to get out of the recliner and I'll get that telephone for you. I don't know where it's at. She didn't put it back on the hook.
Hold on, E.T. My sciatica's acting up.
E.T.
Oh, my lumbago.
E.T. Can you use that magical finger and check my colon real quick? E.T.,
go grab me that Bengay.
Open up that icy hot. I can't open up this bottle to save my life. E.T., can you do that for me?
Can you go count out my medications for the week, E.T.? The script on those, the writing on the prescriptions is so
can't
small.
Read this.
I can't read this. Where are my readers?
Well, y'all stick with y'all lying to yourself about Short Round. Y'all like Short Round. Y'all like Short Round.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, hey.
I could almost, if we had recordings back in the old days at the store, yeah. I'm sure there's a rant that Brian went on about Short Round back then.
I'm positive. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
You know what we should do is break out, Brad, since you found the video, is break out the audio of us at the shop with the whole.
Where's that? I gotta find that audio. Video
we could play that in the podcast.
There you go.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, retro pod for the 200th episode, maybe.
Yeah,
like
our lost episode from like '94.
What were you guys talking about in it?
Probably the same thing we're talking about now. The sad thing about it, toys and movies.
Even a thought, Jonah.
Yeah, you were at the comic shop. I had built a rack, like a wooden rack, to hold the comic boxes on because they would all just start sagging. Like you just had them all stacked on top of each other, and so they'd start to sag and then shift, and then you'd have these big landslides of comic boxes. So I built these racks for them in the back. They were sturdy as fuck. Like they were. You could have blown up the comic shop and those racks would have still been there. But I built them these racks. I'm building these racks, and so we brought them in, and at night, and we're like having to work them to the back and get them in the room and turn the corner and everything. And so we're screwing around with them, and it was Brad, PMR, me, and then Tim. Tim was there. And we had our video camera, and so we were just, Brad had his video camera, we were just talking and, shooting the shit like this. I remember we kept talking about, we had a Junkyard Dog action figure, like an LJN Junkyard Dog. And I had taken, we had parts to those, it's those parts right there from the Iron Man. Go grab those Iron Man, the 96 Iron Mans. But I had taken the parts off of the, we had a War Machine. And remember the Iron Man 90s TV show, it had it was like Mr. Potato Heads.
Right.
You put the armor on it and take it off.
Module.
Yeah, the modules. Yeah. So like these, right? Yep. So I took the armor off and I made the armor on Junkyard Dog. And we called him we kept calling him a cyborg, and he was kind of like a mascot. We kind of had him on the shelf, and so we just kept talking about Junkyard Dog, and then we started talking about Kingpin
for
some reason,
necktie or as
his
diamond.
necktie, yeah, and his diamond necktie.
What happened to Junkyard Dog?
He died.
Well,
What a sad turn.
I don't know. You should have had it.
Figures.
Probably up in your attic.
Oh,
Squirrels
speaking
are just
of,
taking turns humping it. Huh?
we've got a hell of a in memoriam section to do here.
We do have a hell of an memoriam.
I forgot all about that.
All
right, well, let's go.
Wait, we still have one of the news things, don't we?
No, that was it. That was it for the news.
All right.
Yeah, so we...
Nope.
Yeah, if you could find that audio, it'd be great to listen. So
Yeah, I don't know where it is. We'll try to find it. All right, in memoriam. Thank you. Mentioned about Junkyard Dog dying. We've had a couple of deaths that PMR lit up the Instagram account. I mean, you were getting comments left and right on it, I think. PMR, tell us who we're grieving for this week.
Well, we'll start out with, I guess, the biggest one of the week would be Gallagher.
what?
Yes, we'll miss Gallagher. Another child of
like 50 years, man. I mean,
yeah.
His comedy was just the way he hit those watermelons.
I watched him on Showtime back in the day.
Man, I always wanted to see one of his shows and just never made it. So.
Yep, just like Huey Lewis. It's too late now.
He would...
Right.
If you watched Gallagher when he first started the Vegematic thing, right? Like, he would do a good 30-minute set, and then he'd do 15 minutes of the Vegematic, right? What he would do is he'd have a block, and he'd do it like it was an infomercial. He'd have this giant sledgehammer, and he'd talk about it slices, it dices, it purees, all that kind of stuff, and then he'd just set like fruit or watermelons or whatever on the block and just smash them. So people in the crowd would come with like ponchos, like they were going to go see the Shamu show at SeaWorld. They'd get covered in tomatoes and watermelon and everything. But like at the beginning, he would do that like the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes of his act. Then it's like towards the end, he just comes straight out with the fucking hammer.
Right. He knew what the people wanted.
Shit.
He knew what the people wanted.
He didn't even tell any jokes anymore.
I'll be honest. Did he ever tell jokes or just smash fruit?
No, he would tell some jokes.
Yeah, he wasn't too bad. I mean, he had some.
He tried to do George Carlin kind of
totally.
observational stuff. Yeah. But but basically towards the end, he just walk out with that fucking hammer and smash vegetables for
I think Amazon
45 minutes.
At one time, Amazon had a boatload of Gallagher stuff on Amazon Prime.
I was going to say, when was the last when's the last time he ever been in anything? I mean, had he?
I don't know.
Had he been sick?
It was the Mark Maron show, the Mark Maron podcast.
Wow. We could have gotten.
Did you hear about that?
No, I knew something happened, but what was it?
So I don't know. I tried to get the details. I didn't try terribly hard, but apparently, there was Mark Maron had Gallagher on his podcast, and then Gallagher stormed off. They got to a screaming match, and he stormed off. But I don't know if it may have been something like he was something anti-Semitic or something. I don't know. But
we could have had Gallagher on our podcast, it sounds like.
But yeah, so he flew off the handle and stormed out of the room and left the podcast. So Mark Maron posted that this may not be the way he wants to be remembered, but I'm putting the podcast back up. You can go listen to that episode again.
Ouch. Ouch.
Because apparently he was a dick.
All right.
Gallagher or Mark Maron?
Gallagher.
Well, I think we all know Mark Maron's a dick, but we appreciate that about him.
All right. So what else? Who else you got there, Podman Ron?
Well,
Crypt Keeper.
I think
are you throwing it
in the 90s?
Are you throwing it to PMR so you can, because the extra salt in the wound that you're dead and now PMR can botch your name?
Yes. You can say the name. PMR is like the Reaper.
I got this one, Carlos Pacheco.
Carlos Pacheco.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Carlos Patchouli Oil.
He was named after a game. Yeah. So who was he?
He was a big writer. A big artist back in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
And early 2000s. He did one of my favorite Avengers stories back in the 90s, which was a maxi series called Avengers Forever. It was 12 issues.
Oh, yeah, I
Kurt
remember
Busiek wrote it. And Carlos Pacheco wrote it. Drew it. And but then he went from there. He did a lot of X-Men back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But then he kind of dropped off. I don't know. I don't keep up with comic books much anymore. But Brian, do you know what he's been doing lately?
Yeah, he had some creator-owned stuff. There was Arrow. Crap.
Did he do Telos? Telos, was that his?
No, Telos was Mike Waringo.
Okay. Who's another guy that's dead, but okay.
Wow. All right,
let me look real quick. Yeah, his creator-owned character was from Image was it's Aerosmith. But he was on Fantastic Four for a long time, and then he went to Superman.
Did he go to Superman? I did not know that, to be honest with you. Yeah. I didn't know he worked at DC at all.
Yeah, he did Superman, Eisner Award winner. He came from Wildstorm originally.
So did he go into animation after this? I mean,
no, he was still doing comics up until the past year or two.
Oh, really? Okay. I had no idea, but I don't know if he had cancer or what he passed from, but he was young. He was 61 or 62 years old.
Yeah.
So
no, he had been sick. He got because Busiek and him were the ones that did Aerosmith, and I think Aerosmith is like a World War II kind of book, but I never read it. But they made an announcement back over the summer that they had to delay the newest issue, or I think they were going to do another miniseries. They had to delay it because he had been sick, and Busiek was having like back issues and stuff, and apparently that illness is what that's what killed him. What was it though?
No.
Yeah, I don't think it was cancer though. Anyway,
he's dead.
But
it sucked. He's a good artist. So.
And I can't believe that those two outrank the other death we've had.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, don't. Fanboys are going to kill me about it, but I never really watched Batman the Animated Series, so I'm not saying that he's the definitive Batman. I'm just saying that you guys watched it, so I'll let you go ahead and give his eulogy there, Brian.
Yeah, so the third death, Kevin Conroy, the definitive Batman actor.
Everybody's favorite Batman. Hands down.
Everybody's favorite Batman.
And everybody's favorite Joker's Mark Hamill, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, you ask anybody besides me, you will, and only because I never watched Batman the Animated Series. I watched
but you watched
episodes, but
Justice League. So he was. So Kevin Conroy was.
He did a great job. But everybody you ask, everybody loves him. So I yield to that. Everybody else, I mean, they say he was the definitive Batman. So absolutely.
All right.
It was kind of cool. I just briefly interrupt that he was in that what was it, Final Crisis on the Flash show a few years ago.
Yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, he played.
Played Batman.
He played Batman. And essentially what he played. Cool. Essentially, what he played was Batman from Batman Beyond, right? Because he was aged. Well, Batman Beyond, and Batman from Kingdom Come, right? Because he had like the suit sort of thing, right?
Right.
So Kevin Conroy was Batman the Animated Series all the way through Batman Adventures, then Batman Beyond, then Justice League, right? Then Justice League Unlimited, then over half of the DC movies were Kevin Conroy as Batman, the DC animated movies. Yeah, he's the definitive. Like when I think about what Batman should sound like, you talk about, what's Batman?
Christian Bale,
Dark Knight, Christian Bale. Like no,
right?
But like when you watch those episodes and you hear Bruce Wayne versus Batman, he doesn't do the gravelly sound, but like Batman's got this commanding voice, this booming voice. And Bruce, it's the same voice, but it's like there's like light and dark. It's like when he's using Bruce dialogue, you can hear like it just sounds light. It sounds like, and he's playing both parts, obviously, but it's the difference in the way he did the two different parts against each other. And I think a lot of the early animated episodes, he did more than just Batman and Bruce.
I think so. Voice. Yeah, I think he did a couple of other voices.
Yeah, they would always have like fill-in characters, and he would do those voices for those as well. But we've been watching
today we've been watching the Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond. So
very nice.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I need to go back and just watch those because I just never had time to watch them. So I watched them back in the day.
Yeah, it's good. Trying to think his favorite episode, it was the one, I forget the name of it though. But it was where it's basically for the Man Who Has Everything. In season 1, they did a for Man Who Has Everything episode where Batman is chasing these criminals. He goes into a warehouse, he gets knocked out, and he wakes up like he's waking up from a nightmare, and Alfred's bringing him breakfast, and his parents are still alive. And so he realizes, wait, something's wrong. And like his parents are there. He's engaged to Selena Kyle, but he can't reconcile with his life. It's a really good episode. And honestly, it's really dark when you realize what he has to do to get out of the dream.
Right. So,
but I gotta look at what the name of that episode is. But Brad, you're a big fan, right?
Yes, I've watched that. I would like to go back and rewatch them again because it's been a while since I've revisited. I've seen it. I watched a couple of episodes here and there since I think they're still on HBO Max. But yeah, it's always a good tune in. Batman the Animated Series. Not everyone was perfect, but most of them were two-parters and everything, and they kind of moved the storylines along and all. It was good.
Yeah, season 1 was a lot of two-parters.
Yeah.
I think the only one I can really just remember that was probably my favorite episode was the one with Adam West, The Grey Ghost.
Well, that was the second episode we watched. So the first episode we watched is the one that Kevin Conroy says is his favorite episode. It's the one I was just talking about where he wakes up. It's just like the Batman or the Superman story for the Man Who Has Everything. Right, with Black Mercy. And they did that in the
Superman one. Yeah.
Justice League TV show. But yeah, it's called Perchance to Dream.
Perchance to
So
Dream.
we started with that episode, and then we went straight into the Grey Ghost episode. So that was cool because you had Adam West and Kevin Conroy. So.
And then when we were watching Batman Beyond earlier, in the Batcave, like when they're down there, you could see the Grey Ghost costume, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, people sleep on Batman Beyond. That's a great show. Like, it's.
I did remember starting out watching those first few episodes of those back when it first came on in the 90s, and I did enjoy that show. That was a good show.
Especially when you watch it and realize, wait a minute, this is DC making their own Spider-Man. And they're making a better Spider-Man TV show than we had with the Spider-Man animated series.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah. Like we were watching.
Conroy.
Kevin Conroy.
It was kind of a shock that, did anybody know he was sick, or did it just come out of left field?
I think he had been battling cancer for some sort of cancer.
He'd been battling. Yeah. And, I mean, if you've seen him, like, even in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was 5 years ago at this point, he didn't look great.
Yeah, he really did.
Considering he passed away at 66 this week, he looked 70 5 years ago. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's sad though. He was a great voice actor.
Yeah.
I can't believe Crisis was 5 years ago.
It may not have aired 5 years ago, but when it was filmed, it was probably 5 years ago.
Oh.
So we haven't watched Flash in at least 3 years.
I don't want to.
No one's returning to Flash, unfortunately.
Anyway.
So, all right, well, hey.
Kevin Conroy.
And, so, he was what most people thought was the best Batman ever. You got to check him out, Podman Ron. Go revisit your youth of the 90s.
I'll revisit my 20s in the 90s.
There you go. Revisit. Well, hey, let's get on to revisiting a place we all journeyed to at one time, and now we're sad to return to again. We return to Wakanda for another few.
Wait.
Oh, what?
We have a trailer. We have a trailer to talk about.
Are we going to do trailers after? What?
We got a trailer.
What trailer?
It's in the notes, Brad.
Oh,
Did you read the rundown?
No, I forgot we were recording tonight, much less read the rundown.
Yeah,
I was in bed.
Brad had already tucked himself in.
I was totally,
It was sex night for Brad.
I know. I was snuggling up to the wife, and she was pretending like she was asleep already.
It was Sunday sex night.
Yeah.
She said, "Don't you have a podcast tonight?"
Oh, I got to go record. All right. Give me 5 minutes. That's all I need.
So, yeah.
All right. Good.
But yeah, we have a trailer for John Wick 4, Chapter 4.
I'll be honest with you. I watched this trailer. It looks good, but I cannot remember what happened in the last movie. I can remember the first movie. The second movie is definitely a blank. And the third movie all I remember was he was running from people.
The second movie, he killed somebody in the Continental, and he had to go on the run, right? Yes. And so because he killed somebody in the Continental, there was they put out a $10 million bounty on his head.
That was the second movie.
That was the second movie, and they blasted it out to everybody, right?
Yeah.
So the third movie, it picks up right after that. He's on the run. He's trying to take down somebody at the table.
I just remember the chick with her dog going Halle Berry and a couple of dogs, and
she trained him to fight for. But the way this one ends, he ends up back at the Continental, and Winston has helped him off and on through the third movie, and then Winston's Winston, you think, betrays him at the end and shoots him because he's getting pressure from the council, the League of Assassins, right? He's getting pressure from them because Winston's getting accused of helping John Wick and not following the rules, that sort of thing. So Winston shoots John Wick, and John Wick goes over the ledge and falls to the ground. But Winston shot him. Was a hitman. Winston could have killed him, but he didn't shoot. He didn't shoot him in a vital spot. But it basically created the distance for him to fall off the building because they were only a couple stories up, and then escape again. So it's kind of you thought for a second, no, Winston killed him, but then no, he didn't. He did this intentionally to get John off the table and make it look like he had plausible deniability. So this starts.
Go ahead.
So this trailer is all about John he's been on the run for, it seems like a long, a period of time. And he's got a game plan to get the bounty, the marker taken off his head. There's something he can do I think he has to challenge somebody to a duel or something like that. And so that's what the story is. But there's lots of, they allude to, everybody's got to die sometime, John. That sort of thing over and over in the trailer. So, and they're doing a lot of stuff. They showed a lot of clips of his wife, bringing it back to his wife at the beginning. So the thoughts are that there's probably something about, you're going to find out about his wife's history. They're going to bring in something to do with her. like maybe she wasn't an outsider to all this. Maybe she had some involvement in these families and stuff before they broke off. But they're teasing that John's going to die. Now, if he dies,
that's probably for the best.
They're doing the spinoff, The Ballerina, right?
Oh,
with Ana de Armas, right? And they've already said that Winston's going to be in it, right? And that John Wick's going to make a cameo. So I guess basically, if he does die, it could be a prequel or but yeah. So they're if they're moving on to The Ballerina, and he's going to appear in the movie, and Winston's going to stay, it could be they're passing the baton. So
yeah, it looked like any other action movie. It wasn't really anything that just stood out to me.
Nothing great.
It was like, they don't the best.
They don't. John Wick doesn't do that in the trailers. They don't give away all the action in the trailers.
Well, I get that, but it's just, I don't know, just look the same old. Nothing, like, oh, that's awesome or anything like that. It's just like, okay.
That's awesome. I don't know if I've seen a whole John Wick movie.
They're good,
really?
Brad. I mean, I won't lie, they're really good. I mean, the first one's the best, but I mean, I won't bullshit you.
All right. You'll bullshit me about Short Round, but not the John Wick.
Yeah. No, I won't bullshit you about Short Round. Brian will bullshit you about Short Round.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's only lying to himself.
He's only lying to himself.
I only hurt myself. At the end of the day, the only person I really hurt is
that child that's standing next to you, you hurt him too, because he believes that Short Round's a cool character.
He's cool. My dad said Short Round's cool.
Yeah, that's how you get your kids.
Considering your encyclopedia level knowledge of his catchphrases, I think you may enjoy Short Round.
He just doesn't want to admit it. You saw how fast he made that 180? 1 minute he was hating him, and the other minute he was like, I'm all right with it.
I got a little whiplash.
I'm okay with it.
When PMR did that 180.
I hate him.
I do hate him. I hate him.
That being said, I'm all for it.
I do not like child actors.
He's not a child anymore. He's like...
Well, now he is. That's why I said.
I mean,
I'm okay
that's why he's okay with it.
Compared to you, he's a child.
Yeah, he's still young. All right, should we head to Wakanda? We're going to head to Wakanda. Yeah, let's go to Wakanda. PMR's got notes on this one, so let's go.
I'm ready to go, man.
All right, I think all of the podmen now, including PB&J, have seen Wakanda Forever. And
we have.
Podman Ron and I actually went together and saw it yesterday morning. First, because the screens were all sold out everywhere. We could not get a seat with on the side there, so where we could make easy exits in case we needed to. Jonah, you want to set us up here?
Yeah, I didn't think the movie was all that bad. I thought it was a little bit long. I thought they had too much setup on it. I wish we could have seen more of the Black Panther.
Which one?
Or Shuri.
Hold on. Do I need to go get the hat?
Yeah, you might as well butter up that hat. Grease it up.
Yeah.
It's been marinating.
Excellent.
But I wish we could have seen more of Shuri Black Panther. I do like how some shots were like in Civil War, where you see how T'Challa's dad dies with like the where that window like blows up, and yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Look, if you're Wakandan royalty, just stay away from windows.
Stay away from windows. That's probably
like all of them.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Like don't go if there's a room and it's got a scenic wall-to-wall window. Just take a 180 and walk back out.
I thought it was cool how similar it was to Black Panther's origin. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, they did die the exact same way. Well, she actually died drowning, but
one died by fire, one by water.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's opposites too. So
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so not too bad. So, I mean, the setup is the movie opens with T'Challa dying off screen. Sure, he's trying to help him and save him.
As I predicted, from an illness. He died off screen from an illness.
Yeah, they never really say what the illness is, just kind of undisclosed illness. Remind everyone, PMR wanted Black Panther to be in a battle and to get thrown off a cliff. And then that's a little bit more. That is more heroic
because it's pretty sad.
I like
that the hero of the story. Oh, I'm all right up. It's pretty sad that the hero of the story's parents actually died in a more exciting way, in a heroic way, than the hero himself, who died in a bed of an illness.
Just laying there like a slug.
Illness. Yeah, like a damn slug. You know, that's how I'm probably going to go.
Right.
You know,
right. You want something more heroic.
That way. I want my hero. He's a warrior. I want him to go out like a warrior. I don't want to go whining in bed, want Shuri to come cure his ass. Yeah,
you're not going to go to Valhalla just by laying in bed dying. No.
He should have been doing something. I mean, if you're dying, you might as well just, try to go save the world or something and just die that way.
Yeah.
Brad, that is interesting.
No, not him.
Two thoughts on this. One, I was right. Two,
of course.
Just because you're right, that doesn't make it a better movie. I mean,
I didn't say that doing it would make it a better movie. I said that what they're going to do is he's going to die of an illness.
It would have been better if he wouldn't have died of an illness, though. But I got you. I see what you're saying, but it would
die peacefully or throw him off a cliff.
Hold on, though. PMR brings up a good point.
No.
What was the last Marvel movie before this?
Doctor Strange?
Thor.
Oh, Thor. Okay.
And what was one of the key story elements of Thor?
Cancer,
but not wanting to die in a bed, wanting to die in battle, and doing something heroic.
Right.
So that is a weird. That's a weird sort of jump. Like if they knew they were going to have to do this with Black Panther, well, why would they spend so much time on Thor talking about a hero's journey and a hero dying in battle and the reward of Valhalla and everything?
Right. I just think it was just against his character. I just do. I just thought that was just kind of like I know why they did it. I mean, but I just don't think it was. I don't know. I just didn't like it.
But I know why they did it. I think they had to do it this way, but it makes me question. Well, now in retrospect, is Thor in bad taste now? Like the stuff they did with Jane Foster in bad taste?
So.
Because
I don't think so at all. I mean,
or should they have had a little time for these two movies to breathe? Right, because you're creating two completely different sort of scenarios. There's a similar scenario, similar scenario, but two totally different takes on it. And one, they really underlined and bold and italicized: a hero should die in battle. A hero should die in battle. A hero should die in battle. Well, Black Panther died in sleep.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
again, almost like Feige or whoever isn't overseeing this stuff anymore. I mean, the continuity or whatever. I mean,
yeah. Well, yeah, it is weird. Like maybe Thor first, then Multiverse of Madness, then Black Panther. Then it's like there's not. But if you're watching these things in order, the last thing you saw was Jane Foster, not taking her chemotherapy so she could go save these people and dying a hero's death. Right. And the first 5 minutes of this, Black Panther's dying off screen.
But but that's
I wish
that's
there was some way they could have done it better. But
No, see, I think they had to do it this way. I question the timing of it. It's just weird. It's too. It's a 180. That's our PMR. That's the title of our episode. It's a 180. It gives you whiplash, the whole scenario of what happened with Jane Foster and now what's having to happen with Black Panther.
I think crap, what was I gonna say?
All right. So
I got it. No, I got it. So one, Thor: Love and Thunder. It's Norse. It's more Norse mythology. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Yeah. So they believe in Valhalla and dying.
Jane Foster didn't. She still got stuck there.
Still,
she was Jewish.
She was Jewish, yeah.
Yoy.
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 Wait.
What with the armor and the swords and the hammers and the bing and the bangs and the pals. Oh, boy.
All right, well, go on. What were we talking about?
well, what I was basically trying to say is it's two different religions. One believes in dying in battle, and one doesn't. Even though she's Jewish, it's still the premise of the movie.
I may be making up the Jewish part.
Chicken shit. You're saying Black Panther's chicken shit and doesn't believe in dying in battle.
Right. Anyway, so it opens up with the death of Black Panther. And they have a beautiful funeral scene, and everybody's wearing white. And we learned that Wakandans love to put your face on your casket. We've learned in this movie. They love to do almost a Han Solo carbon freeze thing on the caskets. And then they kind of shoot them off into space, right? Didn't they take them up and what did they do? They just
zap them up in a ship, and I don't know where that ship went.
Yeah, so, interesting. All right. Well, anyway, but that's how they open it. That's how they did with Chadwick Boseman and everything. And so, it didn't go quite as Podman Ron had predicted, but I still would love to see you eat the hat, Brian, nonetheless. This sucker was 2 hours and 40 some odd minutes or something. I mean, it was.
Yes.
Yeah, it was long.
It was long.
But speaking of the hat, PMR said in this movie that we were going to get, they were going to bring back Killmonger,
right?
Who everyone knows is T'Challa's older brother.
Yes.
They brought him back.
And they were going to but it'll be Killmonger from another dimension.
Yep.
That was actually, since he was the oldest son, of T'Challa,
he would have been the king.
Everyone knows he would have been named T'Challa, and then now because they've opened this dimensional portal, now he's the Black Panther of the MCU universe.
Right.
Well, that would have been Brad. Here's the thing:
that would have been a better movie.
The movie was so full of dimension hopping, hijinks.
Yes.
I kept thinking, well, at any minute, it's going to be right.
Yeah.
When Shuri opened that first portal to another Earth, I was like, oh, shit.
Here he goes.
I'm going to have to eat that fucking hat.
No.
Didn't quite work out that way.
Let me just say that my tagline for this movie would be, if you like The Office, after Steve Carell left, then you're going to love this movie. Because this movie was like James Bond movie with no James Bond. It was like if MQ and Moneypenny were
going on the trail of the Pink Panther. It's the trail of the Pink Panther, Brett.
Yeah.
Son of the Pink Panther.
Yes, without the Pink Panther. I mean,
and it's a panther.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just felt like this movie, she did not carry this movie well. And I don't even think it's her fault, because
I don't think it's her fault either.
They had this movie so spread out among all these other characters that they didn't even focus on her much, and they didn't let her just become this strong character. It was all over the place. It
was all over the place, and she acted out of character from what we've seen her in before.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yes, I get that she's in mourning. Yes, I get that she lost her father and her brother, and she was carrying the weight of T'Challa's death because she's the scientist. She should be the one that can save him, and she failed. I get that. But at the same time, this did not feel like the same character,
right,
as we saw in Black Panther 1. Like Black Panther 1, she was cocky, she was funny, charismatic.
Right.
None of that was happening here. None of it. Like, it was a completely different character. I get she's in mourning, but at the same time, it's like, if you want us to invest in this character,
right,
give her some growth. she had no growth. She
well, they tried to though. Toward the end,
they tried to, but not. They gave her the plot points, but her character, like the way that her character was written, didn't evolve.
Well,
she was just as angry and bitter and that sort of thing in the final scene as she was in the opening scene.
She spent too much time grieving throughout the whole movie, and then too much time denouncing, the spirit gods and everything that make up a Black Panther. She's the whole time, and like you said, even at the end, she really never accepted anything. I mean, she accepted to be the Black Panther only because she figured out how to make the stupid herb, but.
Yeah, but she didn't. She's not the queen, right?
Yeah. What wasn't she the queen? I kept getting phone calls from work, and I never understood why I was.
When they were going to have
she wasn't the queen.
You remember the ceremony thing at the waterfall? When he fought Killmonger and everything in the first Black Panther, right?
Right.
Because they fought for leadership. So you see, they're all there for the ceremony, and the ship flies up, and the door opens. But it's M'Baku that comes out instead, and he goes, "I'm here to challenge for ruler of Wakanda." But he didn't say who he was going to challenge against.
Right.
And what they happened to Forrest Whitaker? Did he die?
I think they did kill him. I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the old guy? That was
the old guy.
Yeah. Killmonger
in the scene with.
Oh, that's right. Killmonger killed him. So I guess M'Baku's going to be the king of Wakanda, right? She never once said she wanted it.
Which is fine with me, because between him and Angela Bassett, they both carried this movie. Because Angela Bassett was fantastic. I mean, her character was like, it was stupid of them to kill her, because after she died, it was like, oh, well, this kind of sucks now. And then every time he was on screen, he was fantastic too. They're the only two that really, to me, did anything on the screen that was worth anything.
I get that. Well, see, and that's PMR. That's what you were asking for. So you wanted a heroic death. You wanted a heroic death for T'Challa. They didn't give you that, but they built up. It's Ramonda, right?
Yeah.
Right, but what?
And then that was
just too much. That was too much death, though. I mean, you had a funeral at the beginning of the movie. Then you had a funeral in the middle of the movie. It was like, come on. I mean,
that was weird.
This is getting a little bit repetitious. I mean, it was getting boring.
It felt like when I'm watching the movie, it felt like it was two movies that it's like they're like, well, we had, this is what we were going to do with the Black Panther sequel before Chadwick Boseman died. This is what we were going to do, but we need to write another movie where we're mourning and addressing his death, and just kind of staple them together. So, page 1 through 24 is the new movie. Page 24 through 76 is the old movie. Page 76 through 115 is the new movie. It just felt it was really uneven. Like
it really was.
The way the movie was, like that they were trying to tackle way too much stuff. They should have had a time jump. It should have been.
Well, they did a year time jump.
Yeah, but it should have been a time. But it was a time jump. There would have been. It should have been a time. But when it comes back to the time jump, there's still more. There's still when it comes back to the time jump, that's when they're going to do the ceremony for his death. So it's like, why did you do a time jump after his funeral to pick up a year later, where they're continuing another ceremony that's based around his death? So why the hell why would you even do the time jump at that point if it's like, funeral ceremony commemorating the 1 year anniversary of his death? And it's just like one continual funeral.
Here's another thing I think they were doing. And actually, I thought this would have been better if they would have done this, but they ended up not doing it. I felt like they were trying to tease that. What's her face from The Walking Dead? I can't ever pronounce her name in here.
Okoye.
Okoye, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like when she got fired and she, the Queen Mother said, go away, you're done. You're no longer a general, and she ran away. I thought she was going to pick up the mantle of the Black Panther, and I thought that's where it's going to, she's going to be the new Black Panther, and I wouldn't have minded that. I mean, I thought, okay, she's a strong character. I thought this is, Shuri's going to remain being Shuri the way she is, with technology and, not believing in all of that. And then we got a new Black Panther. She's going to do it. And that storyline kind of went nowhere. She got fired, but, you're rehired and everything's fine. I mean,
then she got the power suit, but then they made 2 power suits. So it's not like she's her own superhero either. It's weird.
No, I mean, she's part of that thing again. But I felt like that would have been a better avenue. It would have been something different than waiting for Shuri to finally take up the mantle in the last 30 minutes of the movie. I mean,
yeah. Here's what I would propose. This movie should have been like the beginning. Fine, you do the time jump. You forget all that whole ceremony thing at the campfire and all that kind of stuff. In the time jump, Shuri goes back to like L.A., right? Because remember at the end, she never left Wakanda. And at the end of Black Panther 1, when he takes her and they open up that inner city youth center,
kids home, whatever,
kids home, which basically is what what's her name? T'Challa's betrothed.
Lupita. Well, I don't know her character's name.
Yeah, Lupita. Yeah. So, but here's the thing. So if you did the time jump, so Ramonda's still presenting in front of the UN. Shuri's been gone. She's not sulking around in her lab. She left Wakanda. She's in LA. You get to flesh out that kind of stuff. So she's removed herself from Wakanda, from the equation, and you don't realize that she's been working on creating the herb again. All you know is she just left and she's estranged from Wakanda altogether. And instead of all the Riri Williams bullshit, make that Shuri.
They took that Riri Williams. They should have developed more Shuri than try to develop Riri Williams. I mean, I liked Riri Williams. I liked the actress. I don't care about that character, but I like that actress. But that's the thing is if you took all the Riri stuff out and made that Shuri, right? Shuri's the one that created this thing, or hell, Riri works at this. You can make it almost like the Future Foundation, like that Riri is like a student at Shuri's lab or at that community center, whatever it is, and she invents it, right? But Shuri's off the table. Shuri's in L.A. Shuri's estranged. Ramonda's running the country. Nobody understands why she's not back. She's just gone, but she's out. She's trying to recreate the herb. And so then instead of Shuri going to get Riri, they go to attack Riri, and Shuri gets pulled back into it to try and save Riri Williams, right? And that's how she gets pulled back into Wakanda. And at that point, then she's got to take up the mantle. But that year off would have given her growth. Yeah,
right?
that's what this film was missing.
She could have put some of the baggage of T'Challa away because now she's helping these kids and she's working at this youth center that T'Challa founded in the first movie.
Well, the thing, there was just too many characters in this movie. Just too many. I mean, it's like they didn't trust Shuri to do this movie by herself. So they threw in everybody else in this, even Everett Ross. What the fuck was Everett Ross even in this movie for? I mean, he had no reason to be in this movie. And Louise Dreyfus, why was she even in this movie? She was horrible, by the way. I thought she was terrible.
Well, see, I think that's another problem with the film is because Shuri, the actress, what's her name?
Letitia Wright.
Yeah, because she was hurt off and on during filming. I think they just kept filming other shit. She's hurt. We don't have her for 2 weeks.
Maybe
film some more shit.
I think you're right. I honestly think you may be right on that.
I think they kept tweaking the script and changing stuff and expanding other parts because they didn't have access to her and didn't know if she was going to come back to the production at all. I mean, there was questions if she was going to come back because of her injury. So I think between the script being uneven, these parts getting really bloated for no reason to be bloated, adding all these extra cursory characters, and just Shuri's plot being so she really didn't have any character development, and I think it's because they all of her best stuff got shifted to Riri Williams.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was no need for Riri Williams. There was no need for Everett Ross, Louis Dreyfus,
Contessa.
None of that. They really developed Shuri. If she was going to be the Black Panther, kind of wish she wouldn't have been. They should have went with my idea, but
should have went with the multiverse. So
well, here's the I was just going to say one thing. What was really evident about it, though, it's like at the end, she's by the fire, and then they play. It was a nice tribute to Chadwick Boseman. They show all his scenes. Just do a montage of his different scenes throughout the Avengers movies, and they're flipping through that. And the only bad thing about while I was watching that, I was like, God, I really do miss this guy. He should have been in this movie. I mean, it made it really apparent how strong of a lead he was and how good of a character he was, and it made how terrible this movie I had just finished watching was without him. I mean. I don't know if I would have put that in the movie just because it was like
made the movie worse for it.
It really did. It was like, this is what I could have had. But I got this shit instead. So that wasn't exactly. They should have left the tribute at the beginning like they did, which was a nice tribute. But after I finished watching that, I don't want to say turd, but finished watching that movie, seeing his montage just kind of strengthened the fact that, he was definitely missed in this movie.
And let's talk about the B storyline, the other person we were trying to set up in this movie, who had just as much screen time as Shuri did, Namor. And what the hell? Like his character arc, it's like all over the place. It's.
Can I just say I prefer
you? Go ahead.
Can I just say I prefer my Namor not talking like my waiter at the Los Bravos Mexican restaurant?
Well, you can say it.
I'm sorry.
You can say it, but
Montalban Namor is arrogant. He is obnoxious. He needs a more powerful command than this guy had. I'm sorry, this guy just sounded like just a regular old Joe, just a Hispanic guy just talking. I mean, it'd be like me voicing Superman. I mean, do you want to hear this? Superman?
No, that's not
nobody
good.
wants to hear that.
At no point did Namor ask him if he wanted a refill of chips.
Well, I was waiting.
I enjoy. I like the Maya legend type stuff. How they did that and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting because, as we talked about, even though Namor, I had to look it up, came out before Aquaman in the comic books.
Yeah,
Namor came out
in 1939.
2 years afterwards, Aquaman came out, and they're both pretty much the same. Storyline.
Right.
One aquatic mother or father, and the other one whatever. But anyway, so but in the movie theaters, the normal people out there, the plebes, you couldn't have them from Atlantis and have you had a queen mother from Atlantis falling in love with a Coast Guard guy or whatever type stuff. So it makes sense that they changed the origin of them.
I did. Yeah. I didn't even mind the origin of it, honestly. I thought it was fine because like Brad, you talked about it kind of tied into with the Black Panther's origin with the herb and all that.
Yeah, it was, again, it wasn't our Aquaman. It wasn't our Namor that we grew up with, but it's sort of like, okay, well, it suited the purpose of the movie. The plot demanded of the herb turned Namor's people into who they were and underwater, and then Shuri using the bracelet that Namor gave her when it felt like there was going to be a love affair happening between those two. That's what ended up saving and creating the new Black Panther.
No chemistry between them two whatsoever. That was like they were trying to force it, but
right.
it just did not seem like they had
Well, it didn't even
chemistry whatsoever.
To the
There's
other
more
point,
chemistry between PMR and the guy that brings him his chips.
there was more love there.
Actually, there is. I love my guy.
But I'm not even sure.
guy.
I couldn't tell if they were trying to make it a love story between Shuri and Namor. You know what I mean? It never really got.
Yeah.
It didn't really force that point, or it didn't really back off of it. It felt like they did.
Yeah, I feel like there was like, well, let's see if this maybe in the script at one point they were going to be like, well, if we're like, we'll unite our kingdoms with a marriage, like something like that, and then they were just like, there's no chemistry here, just forget that. Yeah, but yeah, I had a feeling like that was going to be where it was heading, was a union of the two countries, by marriage, but no.
Well, but like, think about this though. It's in the same scene, like in the first part of that scene where Namor's taking Shuri through a tour of his city and everything. You see, it's in the exact same scene. They're trying to make this chemistry between them, and at the end of the scene, he's like, if you do anything, I'll end Wakanda. I'm gonna kill everybody. I'll destroy your entire city. It's a 180. It just completely 180. Flips.
The old 180. The old 180. That's the name of this episode. But yeah, I think like that was what they probably scrapped it because there was zero chemistry between these two actors. Now, but what I was saying originally though, PMR and Brad, is the what is he doing? The roller
he's rifling through his old comic books. I think I'm not sure what he's doing.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Rifling through all that.
Why?
He's doing his recycling. You got to recycle.
I'm recycling stuff.
The whole his story arc. It's if you don't help me capture this girl and let me kill her, we're going to go to war. Right. Hey, sir, you want to come to my place and check out and meet all my friends? Oh, by the way, if you don't do what I want, I'm going to kill you and your whole family.
A little uneven.
So, why did you let her go? She's good people. No, they betrayed you. I'm going to kill her. Like, it was. Yeah. It was. And then even at the end where he's like, when she gives him, when she lets him live, right? When she grants him mercy. And then Namora is like, why'd you let her live? And he goes, once the surface world turns on her, she'll come back to us anyway. It was just like.
And then we'll kill her.
Yeah, we'll kill her.
It makes no sense that they would want to kill Riri Williams if she already has made the machine they want to kill her for.
So just in case of anybody, I mean, obviously, a lot of spoilers. So Riri Williams evidently made a machine. The government commissioned her to make a machine to find vibranium underwater.
Actually, the government didn't commission her. She did it as a school project.
Oh, that's right.
The CIA found out about it, and they took it. And they used it to find vibranium. Right. But the machine's been made, so you just reverse engineer everything, and voila. I mean,
well, no one's smart enough to do that. She's the only person. So Namor finds out about it and assumes it was the Wakandans or whatever. Anyway, but that's what makes I get somehow or another. I forgot. Namor finds out that there was a scientist that created the machine, and so that's where he goes after her. Shuri goes to save her, and hilarity ensues. Including, again, Everett Ross showing up, who, by the way, I'm sure someone else has said this before, but I said it to PMR afterwards. It wasn't until this movie that that it clicked with me. It's like, oh, why is his last name Ross? Like Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah?
It wasn't in the comics.
No, but it's just
Thunderbolt Ross in the comics.
But it just seems odd that they're reusing that name, right?
That is weird.
Whether it's in the comics or in the movies or whatever. But it clicked with me. I'm like, oh, well, that would make sense that they're somewhat related. They're both government figures whose last name are Ross and are involved in the Avengers and all this other stuff. A little coincidental.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a Christopher Priest thing. Christopher Priest created Everett Ross when they did Heroes Reborn back in the 2000s after... but yeah, Christopher Priest.
I just missed my Henry Guy Rich.
quantum and Woody fame. I love Christopher Priest.
So,
but yeah, it served its purpose. See, man, I'm sick of these movies though. Like this, it's like you're going to see these movies not because it's a good movie. You're going to see this movie because you got to check off the agenda. And I'm saying this. And if I feel like that, surely the directors feel like that. Like this movie, it didn't. Does this need to be a good movie? Nope. Does this movie need to advance the plot? Yeah. But at some point, all these movies are just going to be advancing the plot for something else to where it's like none of it matters.
And I still feel like...
I was just going to say real quick, and we still, it feels like, unless something's going to be revealed, it feels like we're completely rudderless here in the Marvel Universe, as opposed to...
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to having Thanos somewhere in the background or even General Ross somewhere in the background. There was something, the end credit scenes always kind of tied something together to you're like, holy shit, I can't wait to see what happens in the next movie. And all of these just feel like they're such standalone movies, which is fine, but it's not what the past decade of what we had with Marvel.
Right. And before we get to the end credit scenes, let's...
I was going to
go ahead.
I was going to mention something though. So they got to decide is what's more important, Disney Plus or box office? Disney Plus or box office? This movie just made $180 million, and they spent a good third of this movie setting up 2 Disney Plus TV shows. Secret Invasion and Ironheart. And it's like, but then you go watch Secret Invasion and Ironheart, and they're going to be like, well, we can't really do anything here either, because what about the movies?
Right.
So it's like between TV movies, advancing the plot for the phase, all this stuff, it's like they've tied themselves into a knot where either nothing happens, or it's so much exposition, or so much advance the plot for something that very likely is going to be diminishing returns. That you're not making any good movies anymore. The movies are all about advance. It's like Multiverse of Madness. It's like, well, we got to pay off what happened in WandaVision, but only a quarter of the people that are coming to see that movie watched WandaVision. So who gives a shit,
right?
And so it's like you can't. And then I don't know. It's
just different from the first decade. Yeah.
The bad things about this movie is, it's, for one thing, is you don't really have a Black Panther. You have a Black Panther in the last 30 minutes. It's basically a couple of, not even, I mean, it's one battle scene at the end. You finally get a Black Panther. That's, to me, I mean, that's just such a letdown to sit 2.5 hours into a movie. And that's the last, Black Panther's always been one of my favorite characters back in the Avengers, back when I was growing up. So to see him just relegated, or her now relegated, to the last 30 minutes of a movie that for them kind of sucked. I did like the. I'm just gonna call it Atlanteans. Fuck it. I don't know what the fuck their name are, but I did like the Atlanteans. I thought they were kind of.
It's Tylo Khan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that. They're Atlanteans.
Fuck that noise.
Yeah, fuck that noise. I like the way they turned blue when they came to the water. I like their little, their crazy. Hold on a minute. They're haunting. The way they
the mermaids
lure people in like this. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I thought they were cool.
Atuma.
I didn't mind Namor too. I just didn't like some of the. He just didn't command the presence that Namor commands in the comic.
I think you hit it. If he was more cocky or condescending or something like that, then that would have changed everything.
Yeah,
to be like, you Wakandans, I don't need you. Yeah. You need me, or something like that.
If you're gonna, you need that condescending arrogance about his. Even if he's going to have that his accent, he's going to have a condescending arrogance about it. But he didn't. He just seemed like a regular old guy, just like, whatever.
And he even says, like, if Wakanda and Tyler Khan go to war, he has, an army that's 10 times the size of a Wakandan army. If he's got such a huge army, why is he asking for Wakanda for help?
Right. I mean, it's just, none of that. It's just, I don't know. It was a waste of 2 hours. There's really nothing that I really enjoyed about the movie. It was just long. At one point, I turned to Odin, Brad's son, and was like, "Oh my God, is this going to start back up again?" Because we had gotten the final battle, and then Namor was talking to Namor at the end when he's doing his little finger painting on the wall, and I got a phone call, so I had to go answer a work call, and then when I came back, I'm like, "Oh my God, are we going to go back? Is this about to start back over again?" Because I thought, we're going to go to another scene in the movie. We're going to fight again. Thank God it ended. But then we get to the end credit scenes.
Well, let's go to the final battle, though, really quickly. I wish Alex was here for this podcast. Because,
he would be rolling his eyes around.
He'd be the apologist, one. Two, it'd be all about the beautiful cinematography. Could they have found a more lackluster, place to have the final battle?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like he talked about, DC, everything's in the desert and Black Adam. Well, that's exactly what they did here. Right. They're on this nondescript desert beach. It's a desert next to the ocean. Okay. But and so they're fighting, but they had to have it in a desert, but also within, 30 yards of the surf. So it was, that whole thing was just bizarre. Why? The setup for the battle, the scene for the battle, it was them just, he can fly. And they're just rolling around on the beach, punching each other. And
cut one of his little feathers off.
With the staff. Yeah. Think about the final battle between Killmonger and Black Panther.
I would have went for the nose bone.
Instead of the wing?
It seems like that would have
ripped that nose bone out.
That would have hurt it. Yeah, that seemed like that would hurt a lot of hell.
But this fight was really low key. The battle at the end between the two of them, they're just on a beach, punching each other. This is there's not really much superpowers going on in this battle, and they're in this really drab setting for the battle. And I guess maybe it's because of Letitia Wright's injuries and stuff. I don't know, but it's even
CGI. So
yeah, but she's in the suit of CGI. The final battle is just kind of.
Yeah. I was afraid that they were going to kill Namor off. I thought they were at the end.
Oh.
I'm like, you can't do that. It's please don't do that. And they didn't, which is good. I thought they were going to for a minute.
Well, and we haven't talked about Killmonger returning, and we haven't talked about, they never said this, but when the Talakan people are blue versus flesh colored,
right, underwater,
it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, it does. It makes total sense.
How?
Because when they're in the water, they get oxygen, so their skin turns pink. They get oxygen, but when they're out of the water, they lack oxygen, so they turn blue.
All right, sounds good.
But when they're coming out of the water, they're already blue. And then when she's giving birth to Namor, her head's out of the water, and she's flesh colored.
Potato.
Well, I thought that
it was one way or the other.
I thought it was supposed to be a lighting type thing at first, just that blue skin and blue water.
I like the way they turned.
Made it different color. Just more of a physics type thing or something like that. I thought that's what it was, and then it was like, oh no, they're Caucasian looking or Hispanic looking. In the water, but then as soon as they touch the air, they're blue or whatever, as opposed to just staying blue the whole time.
But when they come out of the surf, they're blue. It's they're already blue coming out of the surf, and it's why are they already blue? And then when she's giving birth to Namor and her head's out of the water,
it made no sense.
She's flesh colored giving birth to Namor. It's it just didn't make sense. Again, I don't know if that's something they decided to do, midstream and already had some scenes cut that and just were like, fuck it. Or they wanted him to always be blue. And then when they actually tried to do the underwater scenes, you couldn't see a damn thing. Maybe that damn thing if they were blue.
Yeah.
So they're just like, oh well, whatever looks better on screen, make them that color.
Yeah.
So, which is probably the truth of it.
And I can't believe you guys.
I think it's always been like that. I think it's always been underwater. They white, they turn blue.
Right, but they were blue in the water coming out, and then they're underwater, and they're flesh colored.
Right. There's a reason.
No. Like her head's out of water and she's flesh colored when she's
was her head out of water? I didn't believe her head was.
Yeah, like they're
maybe because the majority of her body is still in the water. She's still breathing oxygen.
Well, when they come up, see, that doesn't make sense because when they're coming up, you see several scenes where their head just pops up and it's blue.
We don't know.
It's just weird.
It'll be explained.
What do you got, Jonah? Jonah was going to say something.
Oh yeah. I can't believe you guys haven't really mentioned this. The only two things that are carrying this movie is the cinematography and the exposition. Now, I'm not trying to sound like Alex,
but you're doing a good job.
Movie, you don't think of cinematography and exposition. You think of action, battle, and everything like that. And when you think of cinematography and exposition, you think of something like Avatar or something like that. That's like, it doesn't make sense. And
exposition is going to be them telling you a data dump of information. So
yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yes, but there was a lot of that. That's what.
Yeah,
too much. I just want to see people get their ass kicked.
Wait, so when he finally decided to attack Wakanda, did you enjoy that battle? Where he's zipping around with those little wings, making them fly at Mach 10?
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of dumb when Shuri slices the little wing off.
I honestly
and he goes,
think,
"Ow, my wing!"
Yeah,
it's the dumbest thing.
Yeah, what was that? You think Namor would have whined like that? Like a wuss? No.
Oh, that's fun.
I do think that what they should have done, and Brad, we talked about it, that when they were doing the little Namor origin story, they should have done a little. Him say something like, once I helped the surface world during the fight of Madman, and there would be a scene between him and Captain America in World War II. And then Captain America would have been making a promise, your secret's safe with me, and Namor jumps in the ocean. Kind of tying back to their days back when they were invaders together. And then you could have had something. That would have been cool. That would have been. Yeah. That would have actually been a neat little.
And kind of help explain that he's, whatever he is, he's 500 years old. We don't know how old he is, but other than I've been around for a long time or whatever he said.
Right.
Well, and let me ask you this too: if you're going to have Namor, and you're going to have a character called Namora, and he's old enough to be her father. Or grandfather,
right,
or something like that. Like, how many of those kids in this underwater are his?
To be named? Yeah, no love.
And how many were named Namor, or some variation of Namor? And how many of these in the population are his children?
Well, let me ask you this though: do you know? Can they all age old? I mean, are they all? Only he can age?
No, just him because he's a mutant.
Well, they are all mutants, aren't they?
No, he is. That's why he has the wings on his feet and all.
Okay.
What about this though? When he says that he has like 10 times the amount of their troops, but when they finally get on that boat, it's an equal amount to the people on the Wakandan side. Why wouldn't you bring more people into the army to like better your chances of winning? And furthermore, why wouldn't you bring some of those troops to help you fight Shuri?
Or it's a boat. They can swim and breathe underwater. Why wouldn't you just sink it? Why would you send people to? Why would you send your army to scale this battle to fight these people on a level playing field instead of just sinking the damn boat and letting them all drown?
Well, all I know is when he and Shuri were on the back of the spaceship and saying that, never mind, call off the bow, there were still a shit ton of them still trying to climb up that ship. we were making the joke of we were making the joke about like in the Shazam movie where the guy's making the bad guy soliloquy, the speech, and You know, Shazam, you cut to Shazam, he's like, what? And they're, you know, like a mile apart or whatever. Right. It's kind of the same. You know, they're way up there saying, you know, it's okay, stop fighting. And people are like climbing up the side of the hole of the ship. Being like, what did he say?
Post-credit scene.
Did he say stop fighting or start fighting? Right.
Yeah, the noise of the battle, there's the noise of the ocean. They're
just up there saying, it's okay.
The air. I mean,
you should have had a post-credit scene. Somebody finally gets to the top of the boat,
and it's
like, whoa, all right, no, it's over. What?
And then them
Why
just
couldn't you talk?
Splash. Yeah, I mean,
just wanted to see him like say, "Hey, the fight's over," and they all just hung it out. Because like you see so many of them just fall off the boat and just get immediately killed.
Right.
Like, how do you just stop that?
Yeah,
like,
they okay. They all good. Well,
but yeah, like the whole premise of they're on a boat, they have bombs,
right? They have those water bombs.
Once they took out that echo thing that was like that deterrent, why would you send anybody else on that ship to die?
Right.
Just blow up the damn ship, sink it.
Well, along with all of this stuff,
that made no sense.
I had everybody had high hopes for Namor and everything. The other thing that stood out to me that was, again, kind of the hallmark of Marvel movies nowadays, and maybe I shouldn't say Marvel movies, but just superhero movies in general. There was a fair amount of green screen, it felt like, or the platform or whatever the thing's called, or whatever screen. And then the Midnight Angels costumes looked like high quality cosplay as opposed to movie metal. I mean, everything looked kind of cheap in a lot of scenes.
And to the point where the helmet was too big for their head.
Right. It made no sense.
They didn't even bother like slimming it down to where it looked. No, it was just like you see it at a convention. The helmet, you know.
Right. It looked like the Anti-Monitor.
30% bigger than it should be.
Right.
What's that?
It looked like the Anti-Monitor from DC. Maybe it did in the comics as well, the armor or whatever. But Riri's armor looked kind of cheap. Their armor looked cheap. And so it just sort of really took it away.
And let me ask you this. Let me propose something real quick. Since Midnight Angel is a new character, that doesn't exist in the comics, right, PMR?
I've never heard of it, no.
All right. So, and since there's two of them,
right?
Why wouldn't it'd be the Midnight Sister? The Midnight Sisters.
You would think so.
Doesn't Midnight Sister sound better than Midnight Angel? Especially because you can say there's two of them.
Right.
We're the Midnight Sisters. We're like an order, like an order of nuns.
Right.
It's the Midnight Sister.
Well,
they're not nuns. They can still bang people.
No, I'm not saying they're nuns. I'm just saying like they're a warrior. It's an order of warriors. So you could say they're like I don't know.
They're already the menage a trois.
Right.
Yeah, the menage a trois. But yeah, I mean, it seems like, I mean, it does seem out of character that you had the Dora Milaje or menage a trois, as Pilmar says, and then you have, this is Midnight Angels. You know, I mean, not seemingly an English name as opposed to a Wakanda name, which I'm guessing Dora.
That's true too. Yeah.
You know, so that seemed a little odd, but that's okay.
Well, why would you name them the Midnight Sisters if by the end of the movie they're in a relationship? That just seems kind of weird to me.
They're not in a relationship with each other.
Yeah, they are.
No, that was two different. No,
they're all.
You watch it again. It was
they were lesboing it up.
Not
Okoye and Michelle Coel or whatever her name is.
Yeah. So,
all right. So
Midnight Sisters.
And so, I mean, before we get to the end, because I think PMR wants to get to the end, I had said that my kind of ending of who the Black Panther should have been, because, again, I like M'Baku. What's the guy's name?
Winston Duke.
Winston Duke, yeah. Every scene that he's in, and same for the first movie, he was fantastic. I was kind of thinking that after the big fight, and Shuri would go to him and say, with great power comes great responsibility, and I'm not ready for this quite yet. I was, ready to kill a man, or, have some sort of, again, kind of a character development or something, and say, you are the one. You should have been the Black Panther and let him be the Black Panther, and she would have been the queen or the scientist or whatever. So I was expecting, kind of hoping that he would end up being the Black Panther at the end, but that didn't happen either.
That'd be a pretty bulky Black Panther, though.
That's okay. I would like that. Just so that Black Panther 3 would have
burly.
like I'm big and burly. Just so that Black Panther 3 would have him in it, more than this. But anyway.
Well, and then that's the thing too, is like there was no conversation about her being queen. Nobody questioned whether she would be the queen. Nobody she's the heir to the throne. Nobody said boo about her being about being the queen. Not the council when she crashes through the ceiling. She's there nothing. It's just like they completely avoid that topic altogether.
Well, they still call her princess too. Now,
after. Yeah, she would be the queen.
She'd be the queen. So, and there was hell, Namor called her queen. Namor said, "Now you're the queen," and took off after he killed the mom.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, he recognized her as the queen, but nobody else did. No, it was just
really weird. And I think all of that is the whole tension between. I think there was a lot of people that were ready to well, I think one, you had a divided camp between people that wanted to recast T'Challa and the camp that didn't. Then I think as the filming and all went on, I think she didn't make any friends,
right,
with some of her takes, because wasn't there a whole she didn't want to get vaccinated thing going on?
Yeah,
and then she got injured too.
Yeah.
So I think there was producers and stuff that even at the end of the movie, you're just we're not committed to this character. Don't give her because if you look, they didn't prop her up for anything. The way they've left this, we could never see Shuri again. She's not the queen, right? There is a T'Challa, right? She's got her powers, but she's not in Wakanda. So is she the protector or isn't she? There's a power vacuum. You don't know who's going to fill it, but they haven't proposed anyone else either, other than M'Baku. So it's
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But it's basically they're you know what? Don't hang your hat on Shuri in any way, because we're not committed. We don't know if we want to go back to Letitia Wright.
You make a good point. I mean, that's. I feel like I think you just made the best point of this whole movie. This whole thing is the whole movie just felt like that. It felt like we got you through this. Here's Shuri at the end as Black Panther, but don't
get used to it.
Don't get used to it, because we've got something else in the works, which I think is where our in scene comes in.
Well, are we going to have another time jump? Are we going to have another 5-year time jump?
The miracle of the Marvel Universe, you can just look at Ant-Man's daughter. She just aged,
That was because of the time jump, because of the blip.
Well, that's true, but right now you're looking at Kang, where he can age him. Something could happen. He could age. I mean, he could age up, and his name just happens to be T'Challa.
Yeah.
That kid looked like he was 8 years old.
Well, let me ask you this:
he's aged 10 years, so he's 18.
Yeah, teenage Black Panther.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say is. In 3 years, I mean, that kid, he looked like he was 6, and sure enough, man, he was just the lisp and everything.
Can we get to that scene?
If we don't get another Black Panther movie for 5 years, and they just say
he'll be fine. Yeah, he's a teenager.
Yeah, he's a teenager, and then you make, if you want Shuri back, she's the White Panther. Done.
Yeah.
Why? So we're going to believe that T'Challa just was a deadbeat dad and just let his kid go live somewhere else? I mean...
In Haiti, of all places?
No, they explained it.
Didn't tell his sister? I mean, I bet she's like, I mourned your ass, and I wasn't even important enough to let me know that I had a fucking nephew.
Yeah, that is messed up, because he came to her to tell her that he was sick and then he needed her help. And so then she became basically his primary care physician. And she's the one, working 24 hours a day trying to find a cure for him and create. But yeah, so he comes back to her because she's the only one that could potentially save his life, but doesn't tell her about his kid. Tells Ramonda off screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then the argument is, well, he wanted the child to be raised outside. He didn't want the child to be raised with the pressure of the Wakandan royalty.
Yeah, the pressure of living in a paradise.
Utopia.
Yeah. Instead of shithole Haiti.
Instead of Haiti.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
The pressure of getting literally everything you want.
He got to meet Sean Penn in Haiti.
So I could live in Wakanda, which has the most technological advanced society, as the fucking prince, or I can live in shithole Haiti.
It looked lovely there.
I'm going with Haiti.
And go work for a McDougal's.
I mean,
and the Prince of Hall.
No, really, I'm the Prince of Wakanda.
Also, if you're dying of a disease, shouldn't at some point maybe she could examine the kid and it had some of his
stem
DNA
cells.
in them?
Or maybe T'Challa would have been like, you know what, I'm dying. Maybe I want to have my child by my side. Like, nah.
Or my child, or my
wife, lover, whatever.
My lover, wife, yeah. And that's the thing too. Like, so he never
that
married
bitch
her.
off. He was just done. Well, what'd you say, bro?
He didn't marry her either, I guess.
We don't know.
So
yeah,
this whole movie, I think if you that's what you've got is you have people the camp that wanted to recast T'Challa, the camp that wanted Shuri. They leaned towards Shuri, and Letitia Wright made them regret that decision throughout this whole filming thing. The producers and everybody got more and more sour on her, and her absence from the writer from production and the writers kept tweaking the story away from her. And then at the end, they did not want to commit to Letitia Wright in any meaningful way as the Black Panther. She's the Black Panther in name only, but she may or may not be the protector of Wakanda. She definitely isn't the queen of Wakanda. Like it, she's not even in Wakanda. So yeah, like so weird. This is so weird.
I would rather seen Angela Bassett be the Black Panther because she was
yeah, she was great.
I mean, man, that first scene with her when she goes before the council and she's got that look of like, I'm about to just tear into all of you guys.
Well, even like she was so strong. Like you compare her to what the guy that they cast as T'Chaka.
Yeah,
that guy looks like a chump compared to Angela Bassett.
Yeah, man, you're right. She was so powerful, man. She was awesome. But so, what would you give it, guys? I think we beat that.
Yeah,
we beat that like a Wakandian prince.
I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5.
I would agree with that. I think I'll give it a 3 as well.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.
That's what I was giving it, a 3 out of 5.
Okay, all right, pretty consistent. I had told PMR this as well. I mean, I guess I read a non-real spoiler or whatever, but I thought I had read that Dr. Doom was making an appearance here.
They said at one point that he was supposed to.
Yeah.
But they again, they didn't want it to be, a good movie. So.
Well, I was telling PMR that because in my mind, again, either I had read that or dreamt it or whatever. So in my mind, I was like expecting, trying to figure out where Dr. Doom would appear. And so in my mind, I'm like, he's trying to make a vibranium armor or something like that. And that would be how Dr. Doom gets tied in with Black Panther and Namor and eventually Fantastic Four. So that kind of, in my mind, I started putting that together, saying that, so Namar's going to make a deal with this guy who needs vibranium for, armor or something like that. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if Namor his army was depleted, it would make sense why he was trying to go to Wakanda for help.
Right.
And then Wakanda turned him down, so he goes to Latveria, right?
Yeah.
But, like he makes the point repeatedly that his army is tenfold bigger than any army on Earth. And it's like, so why the hell do you need help to begin with then? It just, I don't know.
Just take over Wakanda at that point.
Yeah, they were already in. And the whole thing was like, I'm giving you 7 days, bury your dead. And then, like, I mean, you just killed her mother. Do you think she's going to come around? Like, she, I don't know.
Well, again, one thing that I also thought might have happened in the, and I guess it would be too much like the Aquaman movie, but in the old days when Namor would attack the U.S., when he would attack New York and everything, he would always have these weird sea creatures, roaming through New York and stomping buildings like Godzilla or something like that, right? And so I was kind of half-assed expecting something like that happening in Wakanda, but then it's like, oh well, because the Aquaman movie had the kind of bizarro sea creature, so they couldn't do that either.
Well, I mean, he also didn't do a tidal wave, like
right, nothing.
Think about that too. Like, he's the king of the sea, so he made like their toilets overflow.
That's
like the city started flooding, but it started flooding from like the sewer system. It wasn't like a tidal wave. It was just like even that. Like, why the hell wouldn't he attack with a tidal wave? You could have seen the tidal wave hitting the shields and then potentially breaching the shields.
Yeah,
around
he
Wakanda.
He didn't want to kill everybody. He just wanted to give them a warning.
Just wanted to make them where they couldn't go.
He just wanted to brutally kill 200 people and the Queen of Wakanda, and then
here's the thing, though,
and then ask to partner up with Wakanda.
I hate this half-ass stuff too, because he didn't technically kill Ramonda.
Right.
He broke the glass screen and she drowned. So technically, he manslaughtered her ass. He didn't kill her directly. Now, he tried to put the spear through her heart and the glass stopped it. The glass broke and she drowned, but she could have lived if she didn't swim down to save Riri Williams. So technically, Namor didn't kill her. It's manslaughter.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Like, just either stupid. Like, that's Marvel 101. It's
well, and again, as we talked about the battle at the beach, the battle on the ship, and the battle in Wakanda, and all that kind of stuff. That, again, I think one of the things that to me is missing and all of these things I've said, there's no superhero stuff happening in superhero movies anymore. No one's a superhero. Thor's battling people out in outer space and stuff, and Doctor Strange. There's just no superheroism to it, heroism, and there's no, to coin borrow a phrase from Brian. There's no stakes anywhere. Again, you think back to whatever, 15 years ago or whatever, in the first Avengers movie, and not that you thought any of the Avengers were going to get killed or anything from the stake-wise, but, buildings were getting crumbled, and, it was like huge disaster movie type feeling, and nowadays everything's, like, oh, well, let's go fly them to the deserted island so that they can battle it out and no one gets hurt, and there's no, I don't know if that's because of, in a post 9/11 world, it's unsavory to have buildings collapsing and all that, kind of like in Man of Steel or whatever. What's that?
I was going to say, Avengers Man of Steel was after.
I guess, yeah. Is it? Do you just not do that anymore? Has sentimentality sort of caught up? Back in the day,
everybody bitched about it so much. Everybody bitched about. There was the time where you had these, and this one to me was a huge battle that just got overcrowded at the end.
Right.
It was just too much. Too many people to keep up with.
The problem is it's lazy writing, right? Like, so where a lot of this turned was in Batman v Superman, right? And in and Man of Steel, because the whole battle between Zod and Superman
just destroyed everything.
Like they just destroyed the city, and nobody, like, complete disregard for bystanders, right? But it's Superman fighting one-on-one with Zod. So they could have worked in some stuff where he's trying to save people, and that's part of the reason why Zod's beating his ass, is because he can't go full tilt, and he's got to try and save people and instead go into defense mode instead of offense mode. So you could have done it, right? They didn't. They didn't even bother with it. And I think that's where this fatigue came from, and to the point where people made such a point about it that's how they did Batman v Superman.
Right.
That's Batman's Batman's whole gripe with Superman is that he didn't save anybody.
Right.
Well, now, like, you get team movies, and then you've got Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch that can be relegated to saving people, because if Hawkeye punches Thanos, it ain't going to do shit anyway. So in a team movie, you can do some of that stuff, but in a solo movie, you want the mayhem, but if you have too much mayhem, then it's like, well, the hero, human life doesn't matter to this hero. So it's so, and then honestly, it's the whole, we're put them on a desert island. It's the, let's say we're way over budget.
Yeah.
We're way over budget. So the final battle scene, nobody's wanting to see, a backdrop to it, so just have them punch it out on a beach, on an empty beach.
Just easier, yeah. But again, no stakes. No one's in danger.
They were trying to get half the fight on land and then half the fight on sea. That's the whole reason behind it. They couldn't just have Shuri fighting Namor on the boat.
But you would think Namor being 500-ish years old and like the king, like the greatest warrior of their race, and his kryptonite's water, right? You would think, like, he could strategically worked the battle back towards the water until...
Right. He would know not to get lured out of it too much.
Yeah, lured to get out of it. Man, I'm parched. Woo!
Imperious Rex, I am thirsty.
So...
He doesn't even die from Shuri. He dies from dehydration. He's like walking to the beach and you just see him pass out.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and what about the? I guess just like Star Wars, everybody can be run through with a lightsaber, pike, whatever.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
Like there's no vital organs right in the middle of somebody. It's like we're all made like donuts.
Missed it
it's
by
just
that
fatty
much.
tissue right in the middle.
Yeah.
There's not a stomach or intestines or liver or none of that's there. It's you take one right in the belly button, you're totally fine.
I think she gets healed. I think they heal fast.
The suit helps her heal
she
fast.
had the herb.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess, but again,
T'Challa didn't heal fast.
Yeah, that didn't help him. But again, you would think that there would be some sort of more, or not. I don't even know. I feel like an idiot saying that. You would think, that some sort of a struggle. She goes from being impaled by a spear or whatever it is, and then he walks away, and then she cuts. She cuts off about a foot and then kind of drags herself off of it. And then the neck, like literally within seconds, she's like doing flips over them and all this kind of stuff, as opposed to kind of like
walk it off.
Yeah, she completely walks it off in a few seconds, as opposed to there really being a struggle. And you're like, oh my God, she's so heroic that she's fighting through all this pain and she's got to do this for her people. No, she just walks it off for a few seconds, does a couple of backflips, and she's okay. There's no appreciation for the character that way.
Yeah.
But just think of, like, I don't know if I'm the only one that saw this, but I thought the last fight scene between Namor and Shuri was so awkward because there was no music at all. Every time they walked, you could hear the sand. The scene was just completely silent. And when you're seeing Shuri flip over people and stuff, and there's no background music or anything. It's just like... Oh,
I didn't notice that.
It's just boring.
I did notice whenever we would have Namor on screen when he's flying, you could hear the his little fluttering wings.
Little hummingbird sound.
Little hummingbirds. All right. Well, hey, I can't wait to hear Alex's dissertation of this movie because I think he liked it quite a bit, right?
He liked it.
There's no way he didn't like it. The only things he focuses on is our cinematography and culture.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what it is. So what else we got to cover?
I've got like a retro review. If anybody wants to go to it,
I don't know if I have that much tape left. We're at the 2-hour mark right now.
That's fine. We can save it for the next podcast.
So where the Podman is going to be appearing at?
Well, I plan on heading back down to the kitchen and getting something to drink.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
I guess they asked that at other Podman shows.
Okay.
Brad, where's your next appearance at?
Nowhere. I'm going to go to bed after this. I'm going to set this sucker to encode, and then I'm heading off. It'll be done in the morning.
What's your you got anything coming up? Anything? Any appearances coming up? Anything going on?
He'll be appearing in his 7th grade classes tomorrow.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
These are our real names. Everybody check out our Instagram account.
Our Instagram is I don't know what social media director you guys have hired. But
we hired a new one.
He, she, they are doing a fantastic job.
No, Brian's knocking it out. The Podmen is our Instagram.
All one word. The Podmen.
One lowercase word.
The : pod : men :
colon the podcast.
No, it's one word. It's the Podmen. One word.
Okay, very good.
On Instagram.
Well, yeah. So far, I've seen that we seem to be getting the same likes on it from the same people that we know. But
yeah, and then there's the likes we get that are like, it's got to be bots.
Yeah, completely.
We're getting a like.
You're such Debbie Downers. Come on, man.
Every time we post it, the same 3 accounts like it.
Yeah.
Right about the same interval. It's like we post it. And about 10 minutes later, boom, there's the like.
Yeah.
So
you know what? You're insulting our listeners, so you need to quit.
Well, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Maybe. I got something very special for our listeners.
Ooh.
To post later on.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
You'll just have to check it out.
Yeah, you check it out.
It's an inside. It'll be an inside joke specifically to 2 of our listeners.
Oh.
So,
which listeners would those be?
Accounting for 85% of our, the math doesn't work. Accounting for 66% of our fan base. So,
all right. Well, hey, we're next. Hopefully, we'll get Alex on before our big Thanksgiving episode coming up. I know everybody will want to tune in for that.
Does anybody want to do has anybody seen or will be seeing The Fableman? I mean, is that something that...
yeah, I want to go see it. Hopefully it'll still be in theaters come Thanksgiving, because that seems like a Thanksgiving kind of movie. But
it's supposed to be everywhere Thanksgiving.
What's a Thanksgiving movie?
Like a family, like
a sweet family
sort of movie you can go see, in a big
group. Want to get away from your family?
Yeah.
Or if you want to get away from your family.
My wife wants to drag me to that movie. I could care less about it, honestly. So
I can't. Is it autobiographical about Steven Spielberg?
A little bit. Although it's
you'll understand why he's always putting fucking kids in these movies.
Yeah, because he has Arrested Development, and you know what I mean.
I heard Short Round shows up.
What's that?
I heard Short Round shows up.
Short Round shows up.
Yeah. I heard he's got a little Asian friend in it.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I saw him on CBS Sunday Morning, and it was kind of sad that I watched CBS Sunday Morning.
I'm so sorry that the billionaire director is having a bad life.
Well, his parents got a divorce, and I think it goes into that in the movies. But he, as you know,
you might. It seems like his mom's like bipolar. So
whose is it?
Name a mom that isn't.
I mean, come on.
Well, he.
My mom, you know what I had to put up with. Good Lord.
Yeah, we all know
Gangy is a saint.
He is a saint.
And
How dare you?
she'll be appearing next.
We should all be so lucky to have a mother like Gangy.
Oh, why do you think Podman Ron's in the Nerdatorium right now?
Like we should all have a mother like PMG or PWG. PWG, Podwoman Gangy.
Podwoman Gangy. So
he's hiding from her.
So he's depressed?
Huh?
Well, I don't know if he's depressed. Well, the real story is that his parents got a divorce when he was young, and he blamed his father and didn't speak to him for like 15, 20 years or whatever. But as it turned out, that his mom had an affair with his best friend, and she was the one that initiated the divorce. And he didn't find out until 20 years later or whatever, and that's kind of sad. In real life,
his best friend was a young Asian boy named Data.
Exactly.
You call him directed Spielberg.
You call me daddy. You call me new daddy.
I'm your new daddy now.
I'm your daddy now.
You got a room. All right. Well, I wish Alex was here. I really wish Alex was been at this one, but
we at least have another 20 minutes of him talking about the cinematography.
I know, Jesus. I don't know if I can stand that, but I guess we'll have to suffer him for the next one. But until next time,
save it for the podcast.